Next up, Rivial Data Security. Rivial's cybersecurity management platform allows IT and security professionals one user-friendly platform to accurately measure the financial impact of their IT risks, very important, automate compliance, and easily manage their security platforms. Please welcome to the stage Keaton Tanzer and Lucas Hathaway.
Hi, my name's Keaton Tanzer. I'm the sales manager for Rivial Data Security. I have our wonderful Chief Revenue Officer, Lucas Hathaway, who's going to be doing the clicking for me today. Rivial's been a valuable security partner to credit unions for over a decade. And during that time, we realized how complicated and time-consuming it is to manage a security program. We took all of our expertise and focused on simplifying and improving cybersecurity management for credit unions. Our platform provides one easy place for IT and security professionals to easily automate their compliance, accurately measure their risk, and manage all of the various tasks and activities that go on throughout the year. So let's dive in. Lucas, let's start with risk. Our risk assessment module provides cyber risk quantification, or the measurement of your risk and financial values. This is important because historically risk assessments have been delivered by high, medium, and low results, and that's very hard to make decisions off of. First step of our process is to identify the credit union's risk tolerance or risk acceptance. And you do this by going over a probability risk exercise, where at different probabilities, you assign how much risk the credit union is willing to accept. This is going to act as the measuring stick for all of the calculations to come. Now we're ready to start assessing risk. Our platform takes a system-based approach. So let's pull up our core banking system as the perfect example. When you select your systems, you have an easy workflow to gather all the general information on that system, what type of information is being stored and transmitted on that system, and the volume of records of that information. Our threat categories roll up all of your key threats into 17 key risk indicators, or KRIs, where you simply just adjust a probability modifier that's backed by real-world breach data. And lastly, we group together all of your key controls into 17 categories that map directly over to our KRIs. This makes it easy to assess any of your sub-controls on that system. Our process takes about 15 to 30 minutes to gather all of the necessary information for the platform to give you the data to make decisions. It's going to tell you what systems are above your risk tolerance, the amount of risk on that system, as well as the greatest point of weakness to that system. So we need to do something about this risk, and unauthorized application access is where we're going to start. So let's jump over to recommendations and let's make a change. Let's mitigate some risk. And we're going to pull up a user access review change. When you make a change or a recommendation to your security program, you're going to have the cost of that change and how much risk is going to be mitigated by it. So in this case, it's going to cost about $76,000, but we're going to mitigate over $500,000 worth of risk. And you report this to your board, you're going to report it at almost a 600% return on investment. That's a good business decision, and your examiners are going to love it. One of the key benefits to our platform is how all of the modules integrate with one another. And there's no better example than our compliance to risk. Our compliance module saves up to 80% of the time it takes to prepare and perform all of your various audits that go on throughout the year. You don't just have the NCOA exam to worry about. Maybe you have Fedline products that you're needing to be compliant with. And in this case, you're also starting to look at PCI. We've mapped all of these controls to our global list of evidence, where all you need to do is simply assign a point of contact. So in this case, James Bond. When James is not saving the world, he's managing a Fedline system just like any of us. And at a predefined frequency, James is going to get an email from the platform with guidance and a landing page to upload the necessary information. As that evidence starts to get uploaded, it's tied to all of your frameworks. So no more having to guess where you're at in compliance across everywhere that you're tracking for the credit union, as well as you're able to see any changes that happen throughout the year. Lastly, when your examiners are about to come on site and they send you that big evidence request list, you've already gone through and gathered all of that information. So you simply jump over to Artifacts, download what you're needing to be compliant with, and you'll have a zip file with all of your evidence associated to the controls. So that stressful period before your exams of having to go and gather all of the information that might live across the entire organization is completely done. You just download a zip file and it's over. Rivial's focused all of our attention on simplifying cybersecurity because teams are too stressed and too stressed. We want to give time back so that the security and IT teams can focus on what's most important, which is protecting member data and bringing in new technology that's going to bring in more members. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Keaton. So how do you calculate the final residual risk?
Yeah, it's hard to do in 5 minutes, and I left about 10 seconds, so I probably could have fit it in there. But really what it boils down to is we take the financial information from the credit union, map it over to the real-world breach data that is tied to your information assets. Once we do that, we run a statistical analysis using Monte Carlo simulations that then provide you with the greatest risk on those systems.
So you mentioned that breach data. Where do you get the breach data from?
Yep. So at least annually, we go through different breach reports like the Verizon breach report or the Ponymon breach report, and we pull in how they got that access and then what type of impact that had to those organizations. We then tie that level of impact to those information assets, which then get plugged into the statistical analysis.
So I heard that our regulators think we're starting to understand the controls, and so they're going to change them again, right? What do you do when things change or a new control comes out? How do you adjust for that or help the credit union adjust?
I know you know this problem very well. What we do is we offer an unlimited support and implementation of the platform. And so an example of that would be this year when the NCOA moved from the ASAT spreadsheet to the ISE spreadsheet. What we did was we reached out to the examiners, we got those controls, and then mapped them over to our predefined list of evidence. So our clients, they didn't have to go and redo their entire process. They just simply went into the platform, selected the ISE controls, and all of the evidence that they've been gathering over the course of the year is going to be tied to it. So they're able to see where they're in compliance with the ISE and where they're not against all of the information that they have in the ASAT. And truthfully, it's hard to go through all this information in 7 minutes, but we're going to be at booth 4, which is right in the entrance. We would love to chat with anybody about this. I know risk might put you to sleep, so if you need a nap, come on over, chat with us. We're happy to do it.
Thank you, Rivial. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you, guys.